We welcome Associate Professor of Calcutta University. Now we welcome Dr. Shanu Karmakar, Associate Professor of Chandipur University. Now we welcome Dr. Akhil Chandra Kaur, convener in 2019 as Associate Professor of Institute of Fire and Safety Engineering.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Aku bagian itu, saya langsung. Itu satu.
Thank you so much.
হবে
words.
And President Haldia Prajalal Chowk Welfare Organization, Honorable Professor Dr. Shobhoshachi Maiti, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Professor Dr. Upendranath Nandi, Calcutta University, Professor Dr. Shonath Kormokar, Associate Professor, Jadavpur University, Dr. Sunirmal Jana, Senior Scientist, Central CSIR, Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute, Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Bhuiya, Tokyo Institute of Technology, Japan, Professor Dr. Tuhin Shubro Shatra, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, Sri Sanjeev Jana, Deputy General Manager, Indian Carbon Limited, Professor Dr. R.N. Jana, Haldia Institute of Technology, Principal. All of you know that nanotechnology is now very famous in the world. Researches are going on worldwide. Our India is also far ahead in this area. Our theme of this international conference is better health, safety and environment. Nanotechnology has spread its wings in every sphere of life, in medical, biomedical, nanotherapeutics, solar cell, water and wastewater treatment, adsorbent, nanoadsorbent, nanomembranes, better safety and fire control system, durable, hard, shining personal protective equipment. It is widely used in food processing, food safety. There are also wide application of nanotechnology. Delegates from national and international level will highlight the various aspects of nanotechnology, and I hope this today's international conference would be most interactive and all the delegates will learn and expose the various aspects of nanotechnology. So I hope this today's international conference would be most interactive, and from this platform we must be able to give some new essence of nanotechnology for better health, safety and sustainability of environment. So once again, I welcome everybody, all the delegates, all the dignitaries present here in this international conference of nanotechnology. Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you so much, Professor of Haldia Institute of Technology and Patron of ICNT 2019 to deliver few words.
Sri S.C. Mishra, sir, and other delegates present on the dais, and also the audience. I would like to say a few words about our Institute of Fire and Safety Engineering. That institute is constituted in 2016 with the aim of to educate that local dropout student or the poor student so that they can learn something practically and they can get some job so that they can bear their families. With this objective, we started in 2016 and up to now already we have 4 batches passed out, and the total capacity per year it is about 30. So about 120 students have already passed, and almost all the students already being placed in different local industries as well as other industries all over India, and also they are working well. So, on behalf of institute, I would like to inform that this is an institute where the student can be educated, and this is a job-oriented course. So, the student can within a short time maybe train or get some certification course also within a 6-month course, and then definitely they will get job. We have different type of courses, mainly fire and safety related. As I mentioned, say also we have also planning to do some in future, say BSc in fire or MBA in fire. So maybe from next financial year or next academic year, we'll start that courses. And we have the classes on only Friday, Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 5 p.m. So the person who are working in different industries, that is working people, they can also adapt this type of courses and they can benefit of it. So with this few words, I would like to thank you.
That words speak more than action. And to honor this effort, I would like to request Shri A.C. Mishra, Chief Guest of ICNT 2019, to inaugurate the magazine. And also like to request everyone to join it. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Shri A.C. Mishra
Me to listen because I've been privileged to be among the professors. About myself, I can say for the last 40 years, I was working with the petroleum and petrochemical industries, and I am the other side of the knowledge, that is the implementation part. And you know, I was with Indian Oil for 35 years, in Haldia, and now in the petrochemical industries. So their safety is the first. We cannot live without safety and fire. We have to prepare for the fire. So last 40 years, even though we are practicing, still we are thinking that it is the young. Safety is always the mentality. Without safety, we cannot sustain for a single second, single moment. As we know, there are few enemies of safety. One of the greatest enemies is lack of knowledge or ignorance. Second is negligence, and the third thing, the arrogance, But the main part is lack of knowledge or ignorance is one of the major things, which is safety and health, environment, all things there. Today, I am privileged, or rather I am happy to participate in an area where we can enhance our knowledge on safety or on nanotechnology, on the technology part, on the support of technology to improve our knowledge. And among all the professors are there. Today I must thank the Fire Institute and the convener and all other members, those who have taken pain to organize this seminar, 2-day seminar, where naturally various professors from various institutes, various practitioners, various dignitaries from other plants also, they will share their views on this nanotechnology and other technologies available on this to improve the safety in our day-to-day life. Particular to the institute, as Mr. Jena has told, I consider it a skill development institute which is helping people to acquire the knowledge of safety so that they can be employed in construction sector, in other industries. It's an excellent idea because before I retired from this Haldia refinery, then I was also associated with one skill development institute by Indian Oil. Thereafter I joined Mitsubishi. So this is a real noble idea of enhancing knowledge of these deprived students so that they will be employable at various courses, various places, maybe in construction, maybe in everywhere. Now people are going for the safety, formalization of safety with some knowledge. and naturally it's a noble idea. I must thank the organizer of this institute, particularly the faculty members, principal and all people, and wish them all the best in their journey. Coming back to this safety part, as we know, safety starts from self and safety ends with everybody. And for safety, that's somebody has given the name health, safety, environment, all are interlinked. So I would appeal to everybody, I will still say health is safety. आप fit है तो दुनिया fit है, आप unfit है तो सब कुछ unfit है. A healthy person can follow safety very easily. An unhealthy person, see the way where the society is moving towards the mobile technology or the laptop technology, people are becoming lethargic to exercise. People are becoming lethargic to all the possible yoga. We have forgotten yoga. Naturally, the foreign countries are following yoga. We are copying from them. That is very unfortunate. Yoga or exercise, regular diet. So unless we are fit, unless we are health conscious, then actually the safety will be the second position. So I request all the, I have told, nanotechnology is helping us in many ways to improve our health. Maybe it's water filtration, maybe it is our day-to-day other air filtration. Today Delhi is suffering from this poor air quality, and certainly the nanotechnology or the air filtration system with the help of nanotechnology will go a long way to make us healthy. So that is the first health part. And the safety part, starting from the personal equipments to the all the safety related gloves, ropes, all the helps, aids, whatever is there. What is the use of nanotechnology there? That also will come to know. And certainly without technology, if you are going ahead, we will be left behind. So we have to adopt technology along with us, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide to the solid waste, the water pollution. Say we know how we are polluting the rivers, how we are polluting the drains. In particular Haldia, we don't have a sewage. I think many of us know that. In 2010, Haldia was declared moratorium because we didn't have any sewage treatment facility. How can we use the technology to see that yes, our water quality, whatever drain quality are there, that we can treat well, and we can live in a healthy society where there will be no pollution, neither air, nor water, nor solid pollution. Every pollution is a real challenge. In the name of development, in the name of progress, we are inviting the problem of pollution. And that is a real, being a chemical engineer, we know whatever we are doing, as you know, every medicine is having a reaction. Similarly, every industry is having a reaction to pollution. That how to face the pollution, I'm sure all the professors are here, they will address to this. So all the three things, health related issues, safety related issues and environment related issues. And with the use of nanotechnology, as the new technology, the 21st century technology, obviously we can go ahead. These 2 days workshop will be a grand success. I wish it will be a grand success, and all of us, those who are participate, they will gain a lot from this. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me to this today's seminar, and I thank all the professors also, those who have taken pain to come to Haldia in this cold weather, and I hope all the participants, delegates and the students, they will gain a lot for the today's seminar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
And this international conference on nanotechnology. I have been in different countries, for example, the US, China, and Japan. So after visiting many countries, I have seen that environment, particularly in India, is really polluted. If I stay in Kolkata a few days, I can't stay. So it's a very big concern, and particularly the conference on nanotechnology is really truly relevant in the context of environment and energy and safety. So these things, health, safety and environment, these are truly related with this. Okay, so in terms of energy, we are using fossil fuels. Almost 85% of the energy coming from the fossil fuels burning, and which produces carbons, particularly polyaromatic hydrocarbons, which is really dangerous, particularly for making cancers. You have many people are having cancers, and these smokes, any kind of burning smoke, okay, it contains benzopyrene, which is known carcinogen and which forms cancers. Okay, we have discussed about the advent of nanotechnology, nanomaterials, how it can help to better society and sustainable environment. Okay, so and another thing is that energy. Energy is really important. The total energy consumption globally for year is almost 18 terawatt, which is a large amount of energy, and with the global population increases, we are almost 7.8 billion people right now, and the global population rate of increase is very high. By 2050 it will be around 10 billion people, and our standard of life is increasing with time. We are using energy, mobile phones, TV, internet, so lots of energy we are using. Very important thing I will tell about the quantum dots, which is really important, particularly for quantum computing, supercomputers, quantum computing, quantum dots. Those are really relevant today. And so the importance of nanoparticles is enormous, and we'll discuss today. And another thing in India, what I want to tell you today, the knowledge is not limited, because the flurry of internet, we already have smartphones. We can use Google, we can use Wikipedia, we can learn many things. No need to go to the university, no need to go to the college. So knowledge is not limited. So what is limited right now? We need to have imagination. Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. So we need to have thinking out of the box, and we need to innovate something which can help or betterment for the society. So I will not discuss much things about. Okay, thank you very much for inviting me. So I'd like to say deep sense of gratitude to the convener of this seminar. Thank you very much.
Tuhin Shubhro Shatra, Assistant Professor of Indian Institute.
Distinguished guest and speaker, it is my great honor to come here, and thank you to the ICNT committee to invite me to present about some cancer therapy and diagnostics. So I am the expertise of last 12 years. I am working on mainly the cancer therapy and diagnostics. I will give a talk, and thanks to ICNT committee, and I hope this conference, today's conference, will be the great successful, and researcher can interact with the all speaker and to learn and to exchange their ideas and innovations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I require Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute, Jadavpur, to deliver a few words.
My beloved nanotechnology researchers, students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. My previous speakers also focused on some aspect of subject and also the recent trends and the status of nanotechnology research in India. You know, when the materials sizes are reduced to in the domain of nano size, that is 1 to 100 nanometer, unusual properties can be reached, and from these unusual properties we can apply in various advanced applications, starting from dawn to dusk from our life. And in this area of nanotechnology research, India is progressed well, but not too much. Why? Because we have seen that starting from 2009 to last 5 years, India published above 23,000 papers in ACI journals worldwide. And that time, India was third after China and USA. And in this sense, India also patented a large number of patents in India, that is about 300 numbers. But the progress is not so well in the sense, India published the ACI journals is only 1% of 10 top 10 journals, and only the contribution of patents in US, it is only 0.2%. So it is not well because of various reasons. So another aspects of nanotechnology research in India is that our high caliber students are not coming in these activities. We have seen in every year the PhD students of Government of India once in a time, and the students, those who are learning in master's degree or PhD, their job facility is not too much. So you may aware and you may also agree with me that this type of boundaries can be removed if the funding resources can be improved, and all of us, as it is an interdisciplinary research, so chemists, physicists, product and deliver to the industry for the societal benefit. Here in our country, our government is now trying to make to the mankind. So with these few words, I congratulate the convener and the others who invited me, and I wish the conference a grand success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
President Haldia Bajalancha Welfare Organization Sri Dilip Kumar Bera and Dr. Akhil Chandrakar, convener of this international conference. So I feel honored and privileged to be here with you on the inauguration ceremony of this international conference, and thank you to the organizer for inviting me and giving me opportunity to say something on nanotechnology. What I feel, basically nanotechnology is the manipulation of material characteristics. So every time you will hear that nanotechnology, basically it is a nanomaterial science. So if you design any material which lies in the nanoscales, definitely the material property will be changed, and that material, nanomaterial, will behave differently. And in this arena, nanotechnology is a hot topic for both the academia, industrialists and researchers. And nanotechnology has diversified applications, but one thing we must remember, definitely nanotechnology has some benefits for betterment of health or safety of the human health or environment. At the same time, nanotechnology is associated with the toxicity also. I am working actually in the field of drug delivery. So the conference come up with the theme, that is nanotechnology for better health, safety and environment. So nanotechnology for better health, in that sense, suppose we are using a tablets. So when we are using a tablet, that is not a nanotechnology, that is a matrix system. But drug enters into our blood. But the drug has no specific targets, it is non-selective, you may say. But what is the utility of nanotechnology? If we design a material that in the nanoscale, but if we attach a ligand that specifically targets to the specific diseased cells, thereby avoiding the other normal cells of our body. So that means nanotechnology offering safety, because you are safeguarding the other normal cells, that is targeting to the disease cells. That's why nanotechnology is for better health. So, and also providing safety. So under this scenario, that is in these decades, several works are going on for some specific end-use applications of this nanotechnology, and some several speakers are there, application of nanotechnology. And once again I thank you to the organizers, and I wish a grand success to this conference.
And dignitaries in the land. And the audience, mainly from this institute, who are the students. I think this conference has twofold advantages to us. One for the students, another for the teachers like me. Students at least get their directions, some ideas about the nanotechnology, its various branches, its developments, its application fields, both in the research areas and in the technology. And for us, generally we attend conferences, most of them speakers are from the academic institutes. But here I can see there are some persons, technological applications of this nanotechnology. This field started, I think, from the great work of Richard Feynman. There's plenty of room at the bottom, I think. So the level has gone down, with a decrease in size. The properties starting from electrical, optical, dielectric, magnetic, all the property changes. How these changes and how to capitalize those properties in the industrial field for the upliftment of our society, that is the main thing for us. It is a challenge for us. But at the same time, I can give you one knock. I got an image in the WhatsApp. After having lunch, there is a photograph of a family. 9 or 10 altogether members were there, each one having their mobile and enjoying themselves. No gossiping after the dinner lunch, okay? No Golpoda Durasur, no Thakurmar Jhuli, no Tenida. We have lost all those things. Maybe for the betterment, we are ready to sacrifice. But technology and our social life has to be mixed somewhere. It is our duty being an old man. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shanut Kormakar, Associate Professor of Jadavpur University, to deliver few words.
All the audience, students, ladies and gentlemen. So, this international conference, I feel technology and all the speakers and guests, they have already said what is nanotechnology, usefulness and all. And I will not take much time for that, so I will not say at this moment. So all these technical aspect of nanotechnology. But what I would like to say is, so I feel that for this type of conference, students and other scientists who are working in this field will get benefited. Okay, so the interaction is more important, and we will also come to know that what is going on. There are several aspects that we have already, people have already told you that there are several aspects of nanotechnology. So one can link, like it's an interdisciplinary subject, so one can link from physicist to chemist to biologist, some engineers, doctors. So all of us, we are working in this field. So one can actually, the subject can be linked from technology to basic science. Okay, so we will listen to some basic physics, basic chemistry, and technological aspect, also some kind of applications for safety in human health and environment. Okay. I wish this conference will have great success, and with this few words, I'd like to thank again the organizers and also the audience for giving me the opportunity to talk to you in this conference. Thank you very much.
This time, we aspire to acknowledge the talent of the students who have been struggling and facing many challenges and difficulties to be pioneers. In fact, that's all because of their own perseverance, constancy, and that they're selected as champion. So to appreciate their hard work, I would like to call upon our chief guest, Shri A.C. Mishra, to felicitate them with a sum amount and a memento as an honor of Shirish Chandra Memorial Award. On behalf of them, can take the prize and the memento. Please give them a big hand. I congratulate and appreciate the students and their parents, chief honorable dignitaries, with a memento, because we are really glad that in spite of their busy schedule, all the dignitaries have taken out their time to attend this ICNT 2019. So first I would request Dr. R. Jana to facilitate Dr. Manush Kumar Bhuiya with a memento. Dr. R. Jana to facilitate Dr. Shunirmal Jana with a memento. Request Dr. Akhil Chandra Kaur to facilitate Dr. Shobhu. Now I would request Dr. R. Jana to facilitate. I would request Dr. Akhil Chandra Kaur to facilitate Dr. Shanut Kaur. Now I would request Dr. Now I would request Dr. Sanjeev Jana with a memento. Now I will request Shri Deepak Dr. Akhil Chandra Kaur with a memento.
Honorable Chief Guest and other all honorable dignitaries, speakers and students and professors. I am very privileged to give me opportunity or give me for the vote of thanks. Today's International Conference on Nanotechnology. The theme is Nanotechnology for Betterment of the Health and Safety. First, I give thanks to our Chief Guest, Sri A.C. Mishra, EVP and the Plant Head, MCBI Private Limited. He has told that about 40 years he has given service to ICL and petrochemical industry. How the importance of safety. Nowadays, safety is a very prime part of the industry. He focus on fire and safety implementation part. Here we have different types of workshop, conference is going on here and there. But he focusing mostly on the implementation part. If it is only closed in the room, it will not be perfect. So we have to focus on its implementation part. And he is focusing on the without safety, or what is without safety one industry cannot run, and behind this lack of knowledge or ignorance of the employees. So he focused for the safety comes from the ourselves or safe. Then it comes to the industry and comes to the safety or nation. Then he focus on the health, how a healthy person goes to equipment, rope, how it can be improve our this nanotechnology helps in our industry and different type of environment, solid waste management, sewage treatment plant. If knowledge and imagination comes and get together, it will help to betterment. This nanotechnology gives a betterment for health, safety and environment. I also thank Mr. Tuin Sadra, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Technology. He is focusing on his subject cancer technology, how nanotechnology helps in cancer technology. I again thanks to Professor Tuin Sadra. Research work is so lower in India. He has given some reasons. Interdisciplinary action on basic science and research with industry. These three he has combined with it, and this will help. I thanks to Dr. Sabyasachi Mahiti, Associate Professor, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University. He has told about more focusing on drug therapy or drug, about the twofold. The students and professor can help this seminar because here not only the academic professors are present, also the industrialist and industry person also present. This interaction with the students, professors, industrialists, researchers, interaction with each other, it will help to betterment our society. And I thank to Dr. Sanat Karmakar, Associate Professor, Jadavpur. He has told about the basics of nanotechnology, and also he has given focus on students, scientists, and get inspiration more from the interaction with each other and interaction with the basic science and technology, and it will help in different research works, and it will help in the safety, health and environment system. I also thanks to our convener, Principal Madam and Patron Arin Jana, and I thanks to Sri Deepak Ponda and Aditi Sinha. It is I again thanks to all other members of this institute and all the students and the guests. And I hope these 2 days international conference on nanotechnology will be great success. And I again thanks all the chief guests and all the dignitaries, speakers and students and this institute's professors and students. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. We have come towards the conclusion of morning session of ICNT 2019. Thank you so much all the honorable respected dignitaries for having their time for ICNT 2019. Once again, a big thank to all of them. Today we are having plenary lecture session, technical session, poster session. So please be with us. Your cooperation is highly solicited. So all of you can proceed towards a tea break.
As you can see, from the Stone Age to this computer age, PV cells, wind energy, thermal, geothermal energy. Okay, so these are very less amount compared to the fossil fuels. Fossil fuels. So what is the solution right now? We can use solar energy. If you have only 1 hour of solar radiation, the carbon dioxide, which is one of the major greenhouse gases, it can harvest solar energy. Okay, solar energy and carbon dioxide and water, it can form the sugar, which is the basic food unit of our planet. And here we have photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. Photosystem 2 and photosystem 1, basically P680 and P700 nanometer wavelength. It can harvest solar energy and it split water by 4 electron and 4 hole oxidation reactions. It forms protons, and this electron basically shuttle through these redox mediators like plastoquinone to plastoquinone and cytochrome B6F and several redox mediator. This electron can go to store the NADPH. So we want to emulate this photosynthesis by chemical reactions. With oxygen, it can generate electricity, yes, and at the same time it's a carbon neutral. There is no carbon, there is no pollution. So hydrogen and oxygen reacts, make electricity and subproduct it water, and again you can split water, you can get hydrogen. So it's a recycle. So the future energy is that we need to take 1 tank of water in the car, split water, hydrogen, oxygen, combine with fuel cells, hydrogen fuel cells, use the hydrogen as a fuel and subproduct with the oxygen. So hydrogen and oxygen both can be used in the fuel cell, and you use the solar light and you can use the car. Even you can generate electricity. Scenario of hydrogen, we are using hydrogen in industry. We are making ammonia, we are making fertilizers. So in the fertilizers we need large amount of ammonia. How we are making? We are making by Haber-Bosch method, which is energetically not economic, but still we are using for fertilizers. So this hydrogen can be generated by water. Current scenario is that this hydrogen is coming from steam reforming reactions. What is steam reforming? We can use monoxide and hydrogen. And then reactions, which is really important reactions. But reaction of carbon monoxide with steam generated by steam reforming. Also we have dry reforming reaction where we don't use water instead of water. So another thing is that by using the synthesis gas, we can use Fischer-Tropsch synthesis, where you can make the hydrocarbons, any kind of hydrocarbons. You can see the polymers. PET bottle, polyethylene terephthalate is a polymer. You can see many things, aircraft, this shoe, everything made of mostly polymers. So these polymers can be made from petroleum or hydrocarbons. how to make this hydrocarbon. So it's very simple method. We can take hydrogen and oxygen, we can get water and electric power and heat. This is a simple schematic diagram of fuel cell, hydrogen oxygen fuel cell. This is the future. What I am telling is this is the future of energy landscape. Here you can see we have a cathode and anode and an electrolyzer. In general, we used to use polyelectrolyte membrane electrolyzer where we can feed hydrogen. Hydrogen acts as a feed here. It is an anode where hydrogen comes, and this hydrogen split into proton and electron. This proton can permeate through this electrolyte membrane towards the cathode, and in cathode reduction occurs, and we feed oxygen from the cathode side and it generates water molecules. And this electron, because of splitting of hydrogen, it generates protons and electrons. This electron can circle through this external circuit and generates electricity. So this is the future energy. So what we can do is that we can take water, split hydrogen and oxygen and combine these fuel cells, so we can complete the circle. So there is no pollution, there is no carbon. Simple water can generate electricity. I will give one example, that is Toyota Mirai FCV. Toyota company in Japan, they started this fuel hydrogen car, that is Toyota Mirai fuel cell vehicle car. It has almost 540 miles range. Recently they started this hydrogen car. No need of diesel, no need of petrol. Only water is sufficient to drive this car. Okay? But problem is
the breaking point of hydrogen
yes.
into proton and electron, how much energy? 13.6 electron.
Yes.
That is supplied by this power. Such which source?
Here, fuel cells.
That hydrogen is broken into two parts now. It's plus and electron. Right? In the left hand side.
Yes.
So the amount of energy supplied there and the amount of current we are getting through that electrical power.
Okay. So we are using catalyst. Varieties of catalyst we can use. Fuel cell we use.
Using catalyst.
Yes. That's right. So what?
Okay, we will discuss later on after your comment.
Yes. So the problem for the hydrogen is that hydrogen is very light, okay, and making liquid hydrogen is very tough. Recently, in 13 December, Kawasaki heavy vehicles, they started this Swiss Frontier, world's first liquid hydrogen carrier ship at minus 254 degrees, and this is basically a ship which can carry liquid hydrogen. It's from Australia to Japan. So Swiss Frontier, world's first liquid hydrogen carrier ship. It's I don't remember exactly how much. It's a few hundred tons of liquid hydrogen it can carry. The problem is that hydrogen is very dangerous. It can blast it. So to seamless transformation of hydrogen production to the storage and the usage is really a difficult task. So people are working on making hydrogen, at the same time storage of hydrogen and usage of hydrogen. So we need to be we need to have very good safety, or else it will be a dangerous thing. Okay? So we can split cathodes and anodes. You can split water. Very simple. You need to use some potential. You need to use some light current, and then you can split water, and it can form hydrogen and oxygen stoichiometrically. Only 77%, because water splitting, as you can see, because the bond electron volt band is 1.23 electron volt unit. So the energy efficiency is 1.23 divided by 1.6 divided by 1.23 into 100. So thereby we can get 77% energy efficiency, because input is 1.6 volt, little bit higher. 1.23 is the limit of this. Yes. So now the hydrogen here $3 per kg, but people are using this electrolysis to make hydrogen and oxygen. Another way is the thermal decomposition water. We can split water by two different ways. One is the nuclear thermal and another is the solar thermal. By two different ways we can split hydrogen and oxygen. But thing is that both these cases, if you think about nuclear thermal, you need to make nuclear power plant in coastal area, and people are afraid of radioactivity. So we cannot make all coastal area the nuclear power plant. And also the compared to the diesels. Another process is the radiolysis. We can use alpha, beta, gamma radiations to split the water molecules. We can get hydrogen and oxygen, but it is very costly. It is not economically effective, so we don't use it. Most important thing is that photoelectrochemical water split. By two ways we can make. One is the photovoltaic device, PV cell with electrolyzer, PV electrolyzer, electrodes, and shine the light on the electrodes. Thereby we can generate the current and split the waters. So this is called photoelectrochemical electrolyte cell. This is mostly people are trying to do this because we use semiconductor catalyst. Another important thing is that photovoltaic device. What is it? We have a solar panel. We can use silicon solar cell, silicon single crystals, and we can shine light here in this PV cell. It can generate electricity, and thereby we can split water, hydrogen, and anode here. So cathode making hydrogen and anode making oxygen. So it's a demonstration of how we can split water into hydrogen and oxygen. You can see, and we reported here. Scientific is hydrogen evolution reaction. As you can see here, two holes can oxidize and forms oxygen, and two protons are reduced to make a molecular hydrogen. This is called hydrogen evolution reactions, and this is called oxygen evolution reaction. The total reaction is water, HAPO2 plus hydrogen. As you can see here, the Gibbs free energy change is equal to 237.2 kilojoules per mole, which is energetically aphil reactions. As you can see here, the product reactant is here, product is here. So it's a energetically aphil reaction. So to make this reaction, we need to have catalyst which can reduce the activation energy. Thereby we can split the hydrogen and oxygen. So we need 1.23 electron volt to split the water, which is corresponds to 1100 nanometer, which is in the regime of infrared radiation. Solar radiation, only 5% comprises of UV light. Only 5%. Okay. So mostly we have visible light and infrared. So if you want to use the solar light, you need to have a catalyst which can harvest solar energy in the visible range, not in the UV range. If you see this 1100 nanometer corresponds to 1.23 electron volt, this is not kinetically favorable because I will discuss later on. So is it possible to make, and you start it and you will generate hydrogen and oxygen. This is the future of energy landscape. This is the future, what I am telling you. As you can see here, we have a water, the beaker of water. We have some photocatalyst on it, and you find permeability. So this is invented by Professor Kazunori Tome. He is from University of Tokyo. I worked with him. So it's possible. So by using water and sunlight, we can make hydrogen. Now, so we have several stages. For example, light absorption. We need to have light absorption, then exciton generation, and then exciton breaks, and it forms charge separation, and then charge migrates to the co-catalyst. Here we used charge migration and then surface reaction for water reduction and oxidation reactions. As you can see here, sunlight, sun shines, and then, oh sorry, so exciton generates, and then charge separation and migration to the co-catalyst. Electron goes to the reduction side, and then hole goes to the oxidation side, and it forms, here it forms a hydrogen, here it forms a oxygen. Next step, so the problem associated with this photocatalyst is the recombination. Recombination we want to do is that we need to separate the charge, and we need to use the free charge carrier for the reduction and oxidation. But if it recombines, we cannot use the electrons and holes, right? So this is the pitfall for these photocatalytic reactions. So these are the components for photocatalyst. One is the photocatalyst, co-catalyst. We generally use the platinum or ruthenium, noble metals, redox species. Here I use sacrificial donor. So semiconductor properties, as I said, catalyst is semiconductor, band gap and band positions, charge separation, surface area is really important because photocatalyst is surface photoredox reactions. More high surface area favors the catalytic activity. Particle size is really important. Today's seminar is nanomaterials, so we generally use nanoporous materials. Systematically deposit oxygen evolution catalyst and hydrogen evolution catalyst, and gold surface by atomic layer depositions. We can make an interface between the hydrogen evolution catalyst and oxygen evolution catalyst. So photocatalyst, to see it is very simple, but it is very complex because it involves physics, solid state physics, chemistry, biology, many things. We need to combine. So I made it 6 gears. If you stop one gear, another gear will be stopped. So we need to have a balance between the 6 gears, then only you will get hydrogen. You know, when I joined in KAUST, people are saying hydrogen evolution is impossible. You need to take him, then only both of you reach to your destiny, right? So you need to pull it. You need to pull it so that we can reach this hydrogen. So time scale starts from femtosecond to second. For example, as I can say, photon absorption, it's a regime in the range of femtosecond. But if you consider the mass transfer, which is the hydrogen binds with the catalyst and then takes away from the catalyst, which is in the order of second or nanosecond. So we need to prototypical or for make a practical application for photocatalytic applications. This is really tough, really tough. So here I have shown varieties of inorganic nanomaterials, inorganic semiconductor, better to say, which are found in common solvents, and optical properties band gap is 2.7 electron volt. As you can see here, it was first invented by Professor Domain 2009 in Nature Material from University of California, Los Angeles. We did the theoretical calculations to understand how the structure works. And this is the possible structure of carbon nitride. We demonstrated by, this is the TEM analysis nicely, and this is a nano rod kind of structure. But it is not working. And we published this work in Angwansi Chemie as a hot paper in 2014. So we used to see the plants. If you observe very nicely the plants can harvest solar energy. See the structure.
Water oxidation towards green energy fuel like hydrogen generation, and if you so detail, give you more time, it will be better. So it is now open for discussion, but due to time constraint, very few questions are requested. Please, if you have any questions or queries. Okay, I have one question. In water oxidation reaction, the efficiency is now not so good. It is like 1 or below that.
ST8. You are talking about solar to hydrogen conversion?
Right. So, what is the future of this energy resource?
Okay, oxygen stoichiometrically, but the hydrogen and oxygen again recombine to form the water. This is the big problem. Another thing is that photocorrosion of the semiconductor. We are shining the light to the photocatalyst, and most of the photocatalyst corrodes. It gives very good efficiency, but it photocorrodes. Thereby, after few hours of reaction, photocatalyst damaged completely. So, recent trend is that coating, surface coating. As I showed this thin film, hydrogen can penetrate, oxygen cannot penetrate. Thereby, we can be circumvented by using this coating of chromium oxide.
Thank you very much. So, I thank you. Yeah. So from
Hello. And the single cell therapy and diagnostics, especially we do that electrochemotherapy and we do the laser therapy, that is called the photocorrosion. And why we do this kind of therapy? So the most important thing that why we are doing the single cell analysis. So mostly whenever we do the chemotherapy, we apply the electric pulse with millions of cells together. So whenever we apply the electric pulse with millions of cells, and we can see that after few days or after few months, then cancer can grow, and the cells, and again there are so many live cells or live cancer cells. We cannot kill by chemotherapy process completely kill the cancer. So that's why our idea is to do the analysis for each cancer cell, and then we can conclude that what kind of disease or what kind of cancer progression on this each cancer cell. So that's why we are doing the single cell analysis. So the main question is whether any two cancer cells or two cells are really same device and nano device. One is gene therapy. After deliver the molecules into the cells, then we can do that genetic therapy. So that means if you have any defective cell or defective disease, so by that gene therapy we can replace that kind of defective gene, or we can just repair that gene. By that it can be immune the cell or disease can be immune. So this kind of delivery, and it is also possible to understand the genetic phenomena inside the single cancer cell. And this is MEMS for cell, means that micro electromechanical system chips. So that can also understand that different kind of your cellular pressure or cellular electrical properties or cellular capacitance. For the drug delivery and therapy, so that is the most important thing is how we can deliver the molecules or how we can deliver the drugs into the cell. So that is the most ideal for the drug delivery. We need to solve this kind of problem. That is, either we can deliver that kind of large cargo delivery into the cell. You have the high delivery efficiency or not. So delivery into all different kind of cancer cells or different kind of stem cells. High cell viability, high throughput, and easy to handle. So this is just the concept of the electrotherapy or electrochemotherapy. So the concept is, this is called the bulk electroporation, where you have the cuvette and you have the two electrodes and you have millions of cells inside the cuvette. So whenever you apply the electric field, then this kind of cell membrane can deform or it can make the nanopores. And finally, whenever you have the drugs or gene, so that can enter because you have the nanopore. And after withdraw the electric pulse, so the molecules or gene can enter inside the cell and it can react inside the cell, and finally your disease or whatever the cancer it can be, the cell can be immune. So this technology or element that can enter into the cell and it can recover your cancer or it can do the successfully the therapy. So later it came the nanolocal, we can precisely deform the cell membrane in nanometer area, and then the membrane, due to the membrane deformation, molecules can enter into the single cell. So this is our first device, proposed device, where cancer cell can apply the electric voltage by this wire, and finally we do the cancer therapy. This is the one result where we have the electrode, and this electrode we have that gap is just 60 nanometer, and then we put the cancer cells onto that chip, and finally we apply the voltage in between these two electrodes. So, and this is the second device, and where also like it is US patented already. And by this device, this is the silicon wafer, and we fabricate this silicon wafer with bottom to the top. And you have the gold electrode on top of the silicon chip. So whenever we apply the electric voltage, we have which deliver into the cells, and after that it produces the active. So now these three chips we developed, and so this is the ideal tool, like how you can deliver the large cargo and how your efficiency is the high delivery efficiency or high cell viability. So these three chips we can confirm that these three chips have this kind of parameters that we can deliver the very large bacteria to the quantum dot or even small molecules. So this is the single cell analysis we are doing the first time in the world, and it came into the last 10 years research into the world. So this is the first book in the single cell analysis, how you can do the cancer therapy with different chips. So this book published in 2016, and now the couple of books by mostly from the Springer, Germany, publishing this book. And I am the editor of this single cell. This single cell analysis impact factor is 5.6. Another guest editor, micronanofluidics for single cell analysis 2.4. And thank you for attention. This is our group for PhD and postdoc student at IIT Madras.
Thank you.
Cells or not. So before applying to the patient, so this is the preclinical trial, the drug resistance tests we are already doing with the Baylor Hospital. So that is called NanoCave, California-based company. This chip is already commercialized with the California, some NanoCave company in Los Angeles. And this chip you can see that all are the single cell. So here we are testing that all single cell we are delivering from this chip from the bottom to the top, the drug resistant test.
That drug can also deliver to the cell which are not cancerous, right?
Yes. Any
Right?
kind of
The electroporation can also happen for a normal eukaryotic cell.
Yeah. So especially we are doing this kind of drug resistance test for any kind of cell, like either that cell can be delivered the drugs or not. Because every cancer cell or every cell membrane have the different property. So by this chip we can understand that cell membrane property or the drug is able to deliver inside the cells or not.
Okay, thank you once again.
Temperature we are not providing, we are applying just electric field. So because of electric field, some of the electrode have the resistivity, but that is very minimal, like the issue of the temperature. That is called thermoporation.
Any other question, please?
Already CMC, Apollo Hospital, Baylor Hospital already used.
Next, I would request to deliver the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Shunirmal Jana. Now, I would request to deliver the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Shanot Kormokar.
Very nice, good, interacting pre-lunch session. So it is the end of this pre-lunch session. After this, we will go for lunch. Just after lunch, we will start our post-lunch session. Thank you.
কোন ক্লাস? তার জন্য ক্লাস 9। এবার কি প্রেজেন্ট করছো সেটা কি?
ইন্ডাস্ট্রিয়াল বর্তমানে আমাদের সব থেকে দূষণ ছড়াচ্ছে বিভিন্ন ধরনের ইন্ডাস্ট্রি থেকে দূষণ হচ্ছে বায়ু দূষণ হচ্ছে সব থেকে বেশি। এই বায়ু দূষণ হচ্ছে তিনটি ভাগে হচ্ছে এইচএস হচ্ছে সলিড ম্যাটার পার্টিকেল। বিভিন্ন ধরনের দূষণ হচ্ছে বেশি দূষণ ছড়াচ্ছে আমাদের তারপরে বিভিন্ন ধরনের রোগ দেখা দিচ্ছে অ্যাজমা আর ব্রেথলেসনেস হচ্ছে সব কিডনি অ্যান্ড লাং ইনফেকশন ক্যান্সার হচ্ছে ইন্ডিয়া হচ্ছে সব থেকে উপরে আছে, এখানে হচ্ছে 25 মিলিয়ন নিজের সংখ্যা। তারপরে আছে চায়না, পাকিস্তান, নাইজেরিয়া, ইন্দোনেশিয়া, রাশিয়া, ইউএসএ, সব থেকে কম হচ্ছে ফিলিপাইন। কারখানার তো উন্নতি হয়নি। এবারে তারপরে আমাদের দূষণ জলে বিভিন্ন রকম কারখানার শিল্পজাত রাসায়নিক জল পড়ছে। এখান থেকে গরু, ছাগল, বিভিন্ন যে প্রাণী আছে তারা এই জলটা পান করছে। তার ফলে আমাদের বায়োম্যাগনিফিকেশন পদ্ধতিতে এটি আমাদের ফুড চেনে প্রবেশ করছে, ফলে রাসায়নিক হচ্ছে সাউন্ড কারখানার বিভিন্ন পুরানো যন্ত্রপাতি সেখান থেকে কর্কশ আওয়াজ বেরোচ্ছে। তারপরে বিভিন্ন রকম যানবাহন চলাচল করছে সারাদিন ধরে, এর ফলে আমাদের সাউন্ড পলিউশনটা বেড়েই চলেছে। এখন আমাদের
ডোমেস্টিক উদ্যোগ থেকে 7% পলিউশন হচ্ছে। কীভাবে পলিউশন হচ্ছে?
তাপমাত্রা বেড়ে চলেছে।
Sir, they are the actually students of class 9. They have no idea regarding the matter of nanotechnology. Simple questions, you have to ask the questions.
শুধুমাত্র কার্বন মনোক্সাইড মোস্ট ডেঞ্জারাস থিং।
করে আরও এখানে
যদি সালফার থাকে, মানে আমরা জেনারেলি এলপিজি গ্যাসে প্রোপেন বিউটেন ইউজ করা হয়, প্রোপেন বিউটেন ডিজেল পেট্রোল ইউজ করে, এটাতে সালফার থাকে। সালফার কী করে বায়ুর অক্সিজেনের সঙ্গে যখন বার্ন হয় সালফার ডাইঅক্সাইড হয়ে যায়, সালফার ডাইঅক্সাইড দেন H2S, নাইট্রাস অক্সাইড NOx, NOx NOx বলে। তাতে এয়ার পলিউশনে অনেক হাই লেভেলে আছে। আরও
সেটাও পলিউশন করে, জ্বালানি হিসেবে ব্যবহার করা হয় এখান থেকে প্রচুর পরিমাণে।
সেটাই এইটাই আমি এই কথাটা বলতে চাইছি যে কোলতার কোড়ালে যে একটা বাজে গন্ধ আছে জানো, দেখেছো না? তবু ক্যান্সার কেন হতো? উনি হচ্ছে রেগুলার খড় দিয়ে জ্বালানি ইউজ করতেন। কী হয়, খড়ে থাকে তোমার বলেছিলাম যেটা যে হাইড্রোকার্বন থাকে সেটা থেকে বেঞ্জোপাইরিন তৈরি হয়। বেঞ্জোপাইরিন হচ্ছে একটা পলিঅ্যারোমেটিক হাইড্রোকার্বন, যেটা হচ্ছে পোটেন্ট কার্সিনোজেন,
শরীরের ক্ষতি করে।
যে কোনো ধরনের টক্সিক কেমিক্যাল আমাদের শরীরে যদি ঢুকে যায়, আমাদের শরীরে লিভার আছে, লিভার কী করে এনজাইম দেয়, সেটা কী করে টক্সিকটাকে হাইড্রোফিলিক করে দেয়। হাইড্রোফিলিক মানে হচ্ছে হাইড্রোকার্বনে কার্বন যদি সেটা হাইড্রোফোবিক হয় তাহলে তুমি সেটা বের করতে পারবে। তখন সেটা কী করবে, আমাদের জিন করেছো, ডিএনএ করেছো ডাবল হেলিক্স স্ট্রাকচার ওয়াটসন ক্রিক আবিষ্কার করেছিলেন। সেখানে গুয়ানিন, অ্যাডিনিন, সাইটোসিন, থাইমিন এইসব থাকে, যেগুলো হচ্ছে হাইড্রোজেন বন্ডিংয়ের সাহায্যে ডুপ্লেক্স তৈরি করে। এই বেঞ্জোপাইরিন যেটা কী করে ইপক্সাইড হয় অক্সিডেশনের ফলে, সেটা গিয়ে ওইখানে লিঙ্ক হয়ে জিনের মিউটেশন হয়ে যায়। মিউটেশন মানে কি জানো, চেঞ্জ। জিন হচ্ছে বিভিন্ন সিকোয়েন্সটা যদি চেঞ্জ হয়ে যায়, সিকোয়েন্স চেঞ্জ হয়ে গেলে ধরো যে ধরনের প্রোটিন বের করার কথা অন্য ডিফারেন্ট প্রোটিন, তখন কী হবে, মানে আনকন্ট্রোল গ্রোথ হবে। টিউমার হচ্ছে আনকন্ট্রোল গ্রোথ। সেটা যদি ম্যানেজমেন্ট হয়ে যায় সেটা হচ্ছে ক্যান্সার। তো সেই জন্য খড় বা যে ধরনের যত পলিথিন যেগুলো আছে ওগুলো পোড়ালে পলি অ্যারোমেটিক হাইড্রোকার্বন, ধূপ থেকে হয় ক্যান্সার। বাড়িতে ধূপ জ্বালানো কোনো ডাক নেই। আর এখানে কনস্ট্রাকশন হচ্ছে ওপেন, ট্রাক যাচ্ছে ওপেন, বিদেশে গেলে কোনো ট্রাক ওপেন দেখতে পাবে, সমস্ত ট্রাক বক্সে ট্রাকে তো নিয়ে যাবে। ইভেন বালি সিমেন্ট এভরিথিং, একটা বালি চলে যাচ্ছে, ধুলোগুলোতে চলে যাচ্ছে, সমস্ত লোকের নাকে চলে যাচ্ছে। না গভর্নমেন্ট, না আমরা সাধারণ মানুষ।
অনেক ভালো প্রেজেন্ট করেছো, একটু এদের জন্য আপতালি।
বেসিকটা বুঝতে পেরেছি, পলিউশন কতটা ক্ষতিকারক, কীভাবে আটকানো যায়, তারা পলিসিও বলেছে, ভালো বলেছে গাছ লাগাতে। মেয়েরা আরো বেশি এগিয়ে এসেছে, খুব ভালো লাগলো এবং সুন্দর প্রেজেন্ট করেছো, খুব ভালো হয়েছে, খুব ভালো।
আজ স্কুলের তরফ থেকে দিদি এসছেন, দিদিকে আমাদের ইনস্টিটিউশনের পক্ষ থেকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ। আগামী দিনে আমরা যখন প্রজেক্ট করবো আমরা আশা করবো আসবে।
অসংখ্য শুভেচ্ছা।
আপনি বড়দিকে বলবেন যেন আগামী দিন সবাই আসতে পারেন। থ্যাংক ইউ। শেষ হয়ে যাবো।
That we have created the sensor in a parallel plate capacity model. Here there are two electrodes. The bottom one is copper electrode and the top one is silver electrode. The top is a porous silver electrode. And the middle part, which is the dielectric material, that is our main sensor, sensing material. This material is porous, highly porous. This material is attracting moisture towards itself because of the property because this material is a chromite based sensor, and this chromium oxygen bonding is there. If you will see this image, this is the mechanism part. If you will see this image, here has several cylindrical pores. So cylindrical on the surface, this has chromium oxygen bond, and this chromium oxygen has a property of creating water into H plus and OH minus. That H plus will react to the oxygen part and create an hydroxyl bond, these OH groups on the surface. So these OH groups will is called the first chemism layer, and these OH groups will further activate, that there will be no dielectric change because polarization is not happening because of the strong bond. After that bonding will, after formation of several water layers, it will be single bond. So that single bond is moisture is increased, the capacitance will be changed. So here the results are shown. Capacitance versus relative humidity graph. So with the relative humidity change, the capacitance is increasing. Here we have fabricated a device in our lab. This is the first prototype. So here we have placed our sensor, our lab fabricated sensor, and there is a reference sensor also. So the reference sensor will show how much humidity is present inside the designated chamber and how much temperature is there inside the chamber. And this will give the result with respect to the humidity change with the help of this device. This will show how much capacitance is changing. So this is the lab prepared model, and the standard frequency for our device is 1 kilohertz. That is the stable, that will be the stable device. So here we have shown in another graph that only the 1 kilohertz data, 1 kilohertz frequency data. So here the capacitance is changing. It has a dielectric of 80. So as the water will increase, the dielectric will also increase, and so it is another effect which is playing its role in increasing the capacity. And here we have shown the response and recovery graph. So the response is really fast. Response and recovery is very fast. So it is about, this setup shows that there is a nitrogen cylinder and there is a bottle which contains moisture. So it will be lower in the this pipeline, and if we increase the flow, then the moisture content will increase. The flow will increase, and so the moisture will be controlled. Yeah.
75%.
Yeah, and lithium chloride 40.
moisture sensitive salt.
That saturated salt should be given inside in the bottom of this desiccator, and we can fully cover it. this particularly this sensor is stable up to 2 to 3 months if without any process. And if
cost is getting in petrol, but because of some policies and interventions, lower quality of policies.
surface area.
Do you have any outside distribution?
Actually, I have to do that is 150 to 200.
Because you did not use any template, right? You don't use any template to make this products. Template. So how do you make the microcoils? It's basically
polyvinyl alcohol.
that is there.
Yes. So after firing it at a high temperature, it is moving. I mean, it is evaporating and the pores are being created.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. We should be shift to this topic. So, as a part of our project, we were looking for producing sources of energy where we can shift the impetus from non-mineral sources to renewable sources. So, since we know rice is a staple product of the country, and rice has been rice for something which is good away all used manual composting. The maximum lignin degradation, because that was the main problem which was reducing the production of bioethanol, and to reduce the efficient depolymerization of lignin without the production of fluorophenols and hydromethyl fluorophenols, and simultaneously we want to increase the efficiency of the production of the pentose and hexose sugars, and so that hemicellulose and cellulose are the major parts which helps in the production of pentose and hexose sugars, which after subsequent hydrolysis produces ethanol or bioethanol if we call it. So the major thing, so what we did first was in the biotreatment process that we did the enzymatic degradation of the lignin layer, which was successful. We discussed in the results, and then we did the subsequent hydrolysis of the cellulose and hemicellulose to hexose and sugars. Then we utilize those sugars to create ethanol, and by the action of cyanobacteria treatment, it can be used as a biomanure. So there is no major waste product in this whole experiment. So if we move to the results of the discussion that we followed was, it was initially followed by the static mixing condition where the solid loading percentage was 20. So by the acid hydrolysis process, when the result was 50 to 55% before, we found that through using the enzyme Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the degradation percent increased to 78 to 80%. Subsequently, for the rice soil, it increased from 48 to 52% by after the
the objective. That will be your novelty of the work. You know, in every work there is a first one novelty. And what you are thinking that you are converting into the knowledge. The knowledge means your data. That will be your novelty. Novelty of search. You are copying the other works or making. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Your paper number?
First of all, we check the RTBA. RTBA means decimal register with temperature. And first of all, we try to scale, and we can scale this in high temperature region by this formula, but at low temperature region we cannot scale by this formula. And conductivity of the cell. There is the and another temperature is there, and we can conclude, we can take a particular temperature 10, we can transfer that. Conductivity remains constant up to a certain frequency, which we call onset frequency. And after that frequency, conductivity is going to increase.
What is that? Onset?
Onset frequency. Onset frequency. And after that frequency, if we increase and then we try to scale it. This scaling by using this scaling. By using this scaling formula, we try to scale it. That is we try to collapse each curve onto a master curve. And this master curve can be any temperature curve. That is 10.
Why you have only 1 point? There are only 1 point. Why?
This may not be error, right?
No, this is not there.
Not a error. One at this temperature, we get A1, and then the curve must start, every curve start from 1. But as they are
In linear.
and but due to there are different onset frequency at each temperature, then this axis at first do not collapse. So collapsing, we divided at frequencies by some suitable numbers or onto a master curve. Master curve, I can choose any temperature, 10 Kelvin or 300 Kelvin.
You tell me, you synthesize the bismuth and magnesium.
Application means there are many applications, Zener diode, like Zener diode application, like emitting diode. Again, actually, if we get
Scaling description in details with its non-linearity resistors may generally voltage variables that characterize non-linearity of and the resistors IV characteristics follows this empirical power law I equal to A v to the power beta. Here beta is called the nonlinear at a constant current density value J equal to 1 milliampere per semi-square. That is also used to characterize a varistor nonlinearity. But these two parameters explain the products from. So beta value is not unique. So beta cannot be used to compare the non-linearity of the varistor in different temperature or it.
What are the factors responsible in the lower temperature region? There are so many factors responsible.
So EV and beta both cannot be used as a characteristic parameter of a varistor. So we have suggested an method, and that is what scaling. That is transforming a data connection. Conductivity values according to the integration, and we have plotted in a log graph. So it's slow time and it's slow
R square value or completely fit, 100% fit, chi-square value. So you have to show there, na, what good it is. And
the thing is that this symbol, this basically temperature, I say.
These exponents that you find, the nonlinear exponents, are they universal or? Change the sum and geometry, change the measurement procedure,
What is your microstructure?
so many things.
Microstructure
Sample to
change.
sample very good.
So, which microstructure will be preferable for getting the good electrical variation? Which microstructure? You heard hierarchical microstructure, hierarchical nano microstructure. Okay. Here in Bengal, you would like to speak in Bengal, but if you go to outside Bengal,
Why cadmium sulfide is used for lighting? What is the characteristics?
another thing, cadmium sulfide. Cadmium is highly toxic. And now worldwide, it is banned.
People are making cadmium sulfide, cadmium selenide.
Yeah, you are working on cadmium sulfide, but you are making some. No, you are making, giving some side ligand. You make it
Capping agent, right?
Capping agent. Alright? It's okay. For educational aspects or academic aspects, it's okay. You now tell your objective, what we ask.
No, you are basically degrading dye.
We have lot of dye industry.
All these things are dye. All these colors. All are dye.
Dyes are carcinogenic
and solid. So you need to use the natural light and
how you identified this structure? When it is degrading, whether it is or breaking down into smaller and smaller components. That's why you have to show the lower wavelength. ACM is not for this one, it gives the agglomerated structure. So you can see that here nanoparticles are there, but it is not clearly identified. You have to mention the size, that it is 1 micron or 500 nanometer or 10 nanometer like that. Otherwise nobody can compare. Am I right? And another thing is, you have to characterize these materials by TEM, transmission electromagnetic.
বেশি যাবে এই যাও না
আপনারটা বলুন তারপর 10-এর পরে হচ্ছে 44টা হচ্ছে আমার
ICNT 2019, held in Institute of Fire and Safety Engineering, Haldia. Today, we are all gathered here to discuss the effect of nanotechnology as a blessing to human society to have better health, safety, and environment. A few important effects of nanotechnology in health may include purification of water, air, and soil, gas absorption, storage, sensing, bio-nanomaterial, biosensor, diagnostic, imaging, etc. And fire control, development of durable, safe personal protective equipment, proper process safety management, and other application in the area of clean and sustainable energy. Energy storage and renewable energy technology are also an application to it. The international call to all of us to interact, learn, and will provide an exposure to various fields of nanotechnology. We hope that the event will encourage the delegates and all of us to think about the new material, method, or technology for better health, safety, and environment. First, on the behalf of Institute of Fire and Safety, I would like to welcome our respected dignitaries. I would first like to welcome Shri A.C. Mishra, Chief Guest, ICNT 2019, EVP and Planted Limited. Next, I would welcome Shri Dilip Kumar Bera, President, Haldia Budlalcha Welfare Organization. Next, I would welcome Dr. R.N. Jana, Patron, ICNT 2019, Associate Professor, Haldia Institute of Technology. Next, Dr. Manush Kumar. Next, I would welcome Professor Tuhin Shubhro Shatra, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. I would also welcome Shri Sanjeev Jana, DGM, HSC, Indian Carbon Limited, Kolkata. I would welcome Dr. Shunirmal Jana, Senior Scientist, CSIR, Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute, Jadavpur. I would welcome Dr. Shobboshachi Maiti, Associate Professor, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, MP. I would welcome Professor Upendranath Nandi, Associate Professor of Calcutta University. Next, I would welcome Dr. Shanut Karmakar, Associate Professor, Jadavpur University. I would also welcome Dr. Akhil Chandra Kaur, Convener, ICNT 2019, Associate Professor of Institute of Fire and Safety Engineering. Thank you so much. One by one. First, I would request Ms. Brototi Dash Odhikari to facilitate Shri A.C. Mishra. Next, I request Ms. Pritha Boal to facilitate Mrs. Tanushri Jana, Principal of Institute of Fire and Safety Engineering. Facilitate Shri Dilip Kumar Bera, President of. Next, I would like to facilitate Dr. R.N. Jana, Patron of ICNT 2019, Associate Professor of Haldia Institute of Technology. Now we will facilitate Shri Sanjeev Jana. Now we will facilitate Dr. Sunirmal Jana, Senior Scientist, CSI. We welcome Dr. Shobboshachi Maiti, Associate Professor of